Has this ever happened to you? Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is Sherry. Welcome back to Little French Homestead. Now, I just came back from a recent shopping trip, okay? I'm unloading all my groceries right now as we're doing this. I go down some of the aisles to go and get some of my items that I like to purchase. Now, I'm looking and I'm seeing a lot of holes inside the grocery store. And I don't mean like every once in a while you see a hole. Been seeing a lot more lately. Now, I don't know if there's some kind of a shortage going on out there, or if there is some kind of other properties that are going on to bring to the fact that there's a lot more empty shelves. I like going shopping. I really do. Unfortunately, sometimes I gotta go to a couple of stores first, but most of the time I try to stay at one store, okay, for our main household items, all right? So I usually go to Publix, as I tell everybody, but there are a few things that Publix can't offer, and I go to Walmart. And I also shop at Sam's Club. And the other day when I was on my phone, because we need to do a Sam's shopping trip, probably this weekend, but not quite sure too much. Let me grab another bag. And I was also too trying to add some of the stuff in my cart. And I was noticing that my cart that I have mostly are same items in. Toilet paper, you know, paper towels, paper plates, you know, laundry detergent, stuff like that. I noticed that a lot of these stuff was coming up out of stock. And I'm like, is there something going on that I don't know about? Now, I can understand if it's mostly they're staying at like one store, but when you're doing 3 different stores and they're all coming up with almost the same items, whether it's store brand or whether it is the name brands, you know, they're all coming up on that short end. So, quick little story. I used to work for Walmart, okay? This was back in 2008 to 2014. So I worked for Walmart for about 6.5 years. I didn't mind it. It was the only place around that we could go ahead and do that kind of, have that kind of a store. There was Walmart and there was a Shaw's. So there's really not too much in that little town we were living in. So as we were working, as we were doing, I was rotating around several different departments. So between the, you know, the food aisle I was in, I was overnights for quite a while when I first started. So I was stocking the shelves and I was looking at everything. And as upon looking, as you do, you see some items are out of stock. You know, whether we just didn't get them in time before the order or whatever. But there's also times where you have an item that is out of stock and you can't, you know, turn around and go place the order, because I was also a department manager, right away. You know, there's certain times that you have to go ahead, place your order. And even as a department manager, you would go see an out of stock item and you go and place the order. Well, there are times it can take 3 to 5 days. If distribution center is out of order, then that means you have to then try to order it from the company. So it's still like a backlog. So, you know, the order that would normally take 3 to 5 days could take 7 to 10. If they were out of stock, then you're talking, you know, warehouse manufacturing. and then they're out of stock. And it wasn't as big, you know, 2008, 2009, and stuff like that back then. But after the pandemic, you know, that big COVID-19 thing that hit on, toilet paper, you know, wipes, hand sanitizers, soaps, they were all flying off the shelf. Masks, gloves, everything was sold out. So, have we really recovered from all of this? Now, I know that some of those items, you know, do take time to go ahead and process. I read an article one time about the paper towels, or no, the toilet paper, I'm sorry, it was the toilet paper. And the company, they only do so much in production per time. So once that toilet paper reached the distribution centers and then Enforce delivered it to the actual stores, you know, you're talking a small amount, and then that's why they put them on the shelf, and they were gone in a matter of days or less, maybe hours. And that's why there was always like a, you know, limit one per household or one per person or something. And I've noticed the trend still happening. Maybe not so much on the toilet paper, okay, but still on some other items. You are still seeing in the stores, limit one item per household, limit two per person. And is that seeing that we're up for another shortage on something? Now, not too long ago, probably about 2 years ago, the eggs, okay? There was a massive bird flu pandemic that went through and got rid of all of the eggs. So prices skyrocketed. Now, if you know, and if you've been here on my channel for a while, you know that I have chickens, okay? And they were just coming into production at that time frame, which was awesome for us. But, you know, I felt bad for a lot of other people. I was able to go ahead and give eggs to my parents and a few other friends and families that were in the area that needed eggs. And the prices haven't really seen what they were at that time frame. So yeah, they went down. I mean, they were up at, you know, like $9, $10 for a dozen in some places, you know, more for the 18 packs and everything. And they really still haven't come back down to like the $2.99, you know, in most areas. Now, I'm sure in some areas it's gone down, but you know, like sometimes in these bigger cities, they don't go back down, okay? They go up and then they go down, but it's never gonna go all the way to what it was before the bird flu hit. And, you know, my mind has been wondering, you know, what is really actually going on out there? I do watch the news, but not enough to see what is going on. If this is like a trend, are we coming into a shortage? Is there something else going on in the world? So to me, nothing like says, build a buffer with your family favorites, okay? Now these cheeses here are buy one, get one free. Nothing goes better on a fresh pizza than some nice Parmesan cheese. And nothing says homemade mac and cheese like some Gouda. So I did a little bit of stocking. Put some in your refrigerator and then stick some down here in the freezer. And then that way you have it. Now you've logged it in at today's price, okay? So you're already eating cheaper. Down the road, if those prices get a little bit more hectic and busy, at least, then that way you know that you have some food that you bought it at a lower price. So as you're stocking some of your family's favorite foods, go ahead and get an extra bag. I did not need frozen meatballs, but it doesn't hurt to have them. Now, we do pizza every Friday night, so I looked at next week's flyer. They don't have pizza that we like on sale. So I went, picked everything all up today. My flyers go from Thursday until the following Wednesday. And I absolutely love looking at the flyer that comes out on Tuesday or Wednesday. They give you like a sneak peek so I can see what items are available. And if some of my items that I bought in the previous week aren't on sale or I don't see anything that interests, I'll do maybe like another small shopping trip like I just did today. Now this was about $120. Almost everything on here was a buy one, get one free, except the milk. And I think it was just the milk. Everything else was all buy one, get one free. So I even saved myself from $119. I saved $96 just by doing that. Any of these prices could inflate over the next couple of days or a couple of weeks, and then I would have lost out on that cheaper version of it. So you want to go ahead and build a buffer. Now, for instance, these chicken breasts, okay, there's 4 to a can right here, okay, and I bought 4 of them. Buy one, get one free, okay? This is how I slowly build my buffer, okay? Especially for situations like hurricanes or tornadoes. If you have flooding in your area, sometimes some areas can get flooded while other areas don't. Or, you know, those power outages during all of your winter storms that you guys get. It never hurts to start now to prepare what is for coming up in the future, okay? Now, these things here, because they're already cooked, canned, and ready to go, if by some chance we do happen to have a major hurricane that comes through here, and we decided to, for whatever reason, stay. I mean, no, we're not right on the coast. We're still about an hour and a half inland, okay? Like I said in a previous video, if it was really a 3 or more, we would actually evacuate with us and the 5 cats. But if it was still a tropical storm 1 to 2, we would stay here in the house. Now, we stayed in our house for Hurricane Milton and Hurricane, what was the other one that came through? Helena. We stayed. Now, both of those skimmed right by us, but we lost power, okay? Now, we're a family of 5, okay? We need to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And thankfully, the power went out towards the middle of the night, so we were all sleeping when that happened. But when we woke up, we still had no power. And it wasn't until about 5, 6 o'clock that evening when power came back on. Thankfully, my mom and dad had a house about 5 minutes away. They never lost power. So we were able to go ahead, take showers, get something to eat. They fed us and whatnot. But if you don't have that kind of family that's around in your area, you are what I say SOL, okay? And you need to then stock up for yourself. Now, if my parents weren't around, we would have had to eat everything that was already pre-canned and pre-cooked in our house. We have a stove outside. We got a grill. Now, we normally only had 1 propane tank. Now, and I made my husband, not made him, but I had my husband go out and go get another full propane tank, okay? We didn't get any storms last year, so I have no idea if we're gonna get any storms this year. I hope not, but in the event that we do, now we have some canned meats, okay? Now, if by chance we still need to, you saw in a previous video where I have a bunch of soups, okay? I even did some instant potatoes. We can go ahead and boil water. We have 2 big bathtubs, and then we can use everything in here in the kitchen to fill up the whole bunch of waters. We have individual bottle waters that we do. I do have purifiers, the aqua tabs that you have. But you want to make sure that you are still being able to cook something. Sure, you can still have cereal every day if that's really all you got. But after about 4 or 5 days of cereal, you're not going to have any more milk because now your refrigerator is gone and shut down. And in that event, you're going to want to go ahead and, because you don't know how long the power is going to be out, if you do have a NOAA radio that you can use, go ahead and use that. Hopefully you can get some news from other people around town. But if you're still talking at least a week or more, that refrigerator is going to become a biohazard. So what you're going to really need to do is eat what you have in the refrigerator, stop opening the freezer chests up so much, and then you're going to want to go ahead and cook them. Now, you can certainly cook all types of meat out on a grill. Sometimes you still will need to have that grill mat to make sure things don't fall through. But in that event, you're going to want to eat that. It's going to be very difficult to boil rice. So you want to go ahead and get, ramen that takes a little bit of time. I've got some cup of soups, individualized macaroni and cheeses. You can go ahead and do a macaroni and cheese, put a half a can on that, and there you go. Now you got some mac and cheese and some chicken. Okay? So this is what I'm talking about when you want to be prepared and look ahead at some of the items that you might need for you and your family. And always do store what you eat and eat what you store. Now, you know what you can also do too? I haven't done this yet, and my family hasn't done this yet. I actually haven't even approached my family on it yet. But you should do a dry run. Have a Saturday, Sunday, make it a weekend planned. Do no power. Completely cut yourself off the power grid. That way, you can go ahead and see if you have any holes in your preparation that you need to fix. Most of us have never done that, okay? Never done that. You are gonna need to go ahead and do a dry run. You're gonna need to find out what's going on. So when you go ahead and, you don't have to kill it from the main switch, just turn everything off. Pretend there's no power, okay? That means there's no internet, no gaming, no TV watching, no anything, no cooking, okay? Keep all your appliances running, okay? But then you need to see what actually works and what doesn't. You can't use real plates, because then if you don't have a dishwasher or running water, what are you gonna use? That's when you need to have paper plates. Same thing with your utensils. You need to have plastic utensils. Again, cook outside on the grill. Make sure you have enough firewood. If you have a fireplace outside or a fire pit, see if you can do some cooking on that. I'm talking like breakfast, lunch, dinner. Plan it out. Now, I know that life doesn't always go as planned. Power goes out, you're done. But at least this time, plan it out. See what you can cook out there. Get some eggs, get some bacon. If you have a cast iron pan, those are the best things to have when a grid down scenario happens. Power outages happen, and you're gonna need something very tough and sustainable. So, always a cast iron pan for that. Go ahead, cook your bacon. Then with that bacon grease, you go ahead and cook your eggs and your home fries. Put all that together, okay? Have a breakfast that way. Throw some toast in there, soak up all that extra grease, and then there's your family meal, breakfast, okay? Do the same thing for lunch. Do the same thing for dinner, okay? Come in here, get what you need, and then go cook it outside on the grill, okay? That way you see what needs to be fixed, all right? If that works out great, then, you know, maybe go ahead and go to a week, go camping, okay? For those of you who already do camping, great, that is awesome. I don't camp, okay? I don't have the equipment, the necessities. Now, I should have that in case something like that happens, but I don't. Those of you know how to camp, then you already have all your camping supplies. Go camp in the backyard. Do it one more time here at your house instead of at someplace else, okay? Use your house as your home base. But that also means you can't use the bathrooms, because if there's, you know, no power, you can't use the bathroom. So go and try that. See if you can manage that as a family. Yes, we need to do that. I need to prepare my family for something along those lines as well. So I just wanted to say, I hope you like this video. I'm trying to do some new and different things and not just always cooking. I am a homestead. I do want to do other items just besides cooking, even though I love it. I also like to be prepared and keep you in the know. As many of you know, if you've been watching me for a while, I lived in New Hampshire, lived in Florida, moved back to New Hampshire, and now I'm back in Florida. So I know all about hurricanes, and I know about bad weather and storms. You know, winter storm warnings up there, hurricane and tornado warnings down here. We are under a fire ban right now because we have a lot of fires coming in here in Florida, so they don't want us to burn anything, because right now it's very windy outside and they don't want any more fires being started. So go ahead, maybe give that a try, see if that helps, okay? And also to look around your area. Put it in the comments below. Are you seeing a lot more shortages? Are you seeing prices that go up one week, come down the next, but they never go back down to the original price that you saw? You know, we'd like to go ahead and, you know, see what's going on in other areas. I could have, you know, several shortages here in Florida, but then you go to another state over and there's no shortages over there. So they're like, what are you talking about? But then you go to like California and those big cities, and maybe they have tons of shortages. So all I'm seeing is here around in my area, but put those in the comments below, because I do like to read those things. So if you want to go ahead and see more videos like this, go ahead, click like, share, but most importantly, go ahead and subscribe. Click that notification button so you can get all of my updated videos. And as always, keep on cooking. Bye.